It's an absolute joy to reconnect with you today as we dive into a story that's not just electrifying, it's revolutionary. Picture this: the sun rising over the golden savannas of Burkina Faso, casting light on a nation reborn. The air hums with possibility, the streets buzz with ambition, and the hearts of millions beat in unison to a new rhythm, a rhythm of homecoming, resilience, and unshakable pride. Today, we're unpacking a movement that's rewriting the narrative of an entire nation, and trust me, you'll want to lean in for this one. For decades, Burkina Faso's story has been shaped by absence. The absence of opportunities, the absence of infrastructure, and most painfully, the absence of its own people. Generations of Burkinabè left their homeland, lured by the glittering promises of Parisian boulevards, New York skyscrapers, and Dubai's desert miracles. They became the architects of foreign economies, building roads in Europe, powering industries in America, and fueling growth in nations that later labeled their homeland poor. But here's the plot twist no one saw coming. Burkina Faso's millionaires, innovators, and visionaries are now turning their gaze homeward. They're trading champagne flutes in foreign penthouse suites for shovels in the soil of their ancestors. And the reason? A rallying cry from one man, a call so bold, so urgent, it's shaking the foundations of complacency. Let's set the scene. Imagine a packed conference hall in Bobo Dioulasso, Burkina Faso's cultural heartbeat. The air is thick with anticipation. On stage stands Prime Minister Dr. Apollinaire Joachimson Kyélem de Tambèla, a figure whose very presence commands silence. His words aren't polite suggestions, they're a thunderclap. Instead of being the first investors abroad, he declares, be the first investors in your own country. The room erupts. This isn't just a speech, it's a revolution. But why now? Why, after decades of exile, are Burkina Faso's elite choosing this moment to return? The answer lies in a perfect storm of pride, opportunity, and raw necessity. For too long, Burkina Faso has been a footnote in its own story, a land rich in gold, cotton, and human potential, yet perpetually sidelined. Foreign corporations extracted its resources, international headlines reduced it to a poor, landlocked nation, and its own people became economic mercenaries, building empires everywhere but home. Dr. Kyélem de Tambèla's message cuts through this resignation like a knife. Our parents built other people's countries, he reminds the crowd, while ours gathered dust. Those same countries now call us poor, but we built them. Now, it's time to build us. This isn't empty rhetoric. The government is backing its words with ironclad policies. Take, for example, the new mandate requiring foreign companies operating in Burkina Faso to establish their headquarters on Burkinabè soil. Gone are the days of remote-controlled exploitation. Now, if you profit from Burkina's gold, cotton, or labor, you'll do it with boots on the ground, employing locals, paying taxes, and reinvesting in communities. It's a masterstroke, flipping the script from extraction to collaboration. But the real genius lies in the domino effect this creates. When a multinational mining company builds its African HQ in Ouagadougou, it doesn't just create jobs, it sparks demand for everything from office supplies to lunchtime food vendors. It forces global executives to see Burkina Faso not as a pit stop, but as a partner. Yet the government knows it can't do this alone. Enter the private sector, Burkinabè entrepreneurs who've spent years navigating global markets only to realize their greatest opportunity was in their backyard. Idrissa Nassa, vice president of Burkina Faso's Chamber of Commerce, captures this shift perfectly. We are Burkina Faso's VDPS, he declares, referencing the Volunteers for the Defense of the Homeland, a civilian force that rose to protect the nation during its security crisis. But now, our weapons aren't rifles, they're investments. Our battlefield isn't the bush, it's the economy. And what an economy it's poised to be. Burkina Faso's blueprint for revival hinges on a concept so simple, it's revolutionary: value addition. For years, the nation exported raw cotton while importing finished textiles. It shipped unrefined gold abroad, only to buy back jewelry at inflated prices. Now the plan is to build factories that turn cotton into denim, refineries that transform gold into wedding bands, and processing plants that convert shea nuts into luxury skincare. The goal? To slap "Made in Burkina Faso" on products lining global shelves. But this isn't just about profit margins, it's about psychology. When a Burkinabè child sees a "Made in Burkina Faso" tag, they don't just see a product. They see proof that their nation matters. Of course, none of this happens in a vacuum. The government is rolling out red carpets for investors, streamlining bureaucracy, slashing red tape, and offering tax breaks that make Mauritius blush. New roads snake through once isolated villages, linking farmers to markets. Solar farms rise in sun-scorched regions, promising energy independence, and in Ouagadougou, tech hubs are sprouting like baobabs, with young coders developing apps to track crop yields or connect artisans to global buyers. But let's pause here to address the elephant in the room: security. Burkina Faso's northern regions have been battlegrounds, with insurgent groups exploiting poverty and instability. Yet, even here, progress is flickering. The government's aggressive territorial campaigns, backed by local VDPS, are reclaiming land village by village. Displaced families are returning, their resilience mirrored by entrepreneurs reopening shuttered shops. In Fadangurma, a once-abandoned textile mill now hums back to life, its machines guarded not just by soldiers, but by community pride. "If we flee, they win," says the factory's owner, a returned Diaspora millionaire. So we stay. We build. We dare them to stop us. Now let's talk about you, the Diaspora. You, sipping espresso in Lyon, crunching numbers in Toronto, or coding in Silicon Valley. Burkina Faso needs you, but not just your money. It needs your grit, your global networks, your refusal to accept no for an answer. Consider Mariam Ouedraogo, a Paris-based financier who liquidated her assets to launch Burkina Faso's first agri-tech incubator. Today, her platform connects smallholder farmers with AI-driven weather forecasts and microloans. Or Ibrahim Traoré, a New York hedge fund manager who now backs startups producing biodegradable packaging from Burkina's abundant bamboo. These aren't charity cases, they're savvy investors betting on a nation's comeback. But the Diaspora's return isn't just about economics, it's emotional alchemy. Imagine a family reunited after 20 years, not in a foreign airport, but under the mango tree where their grandparents once told stories. Picture a millionaire's child, raised in Brussels, now teaching coding to kids in a Ouagadougou slum. This is nation building at its most visceral. A tapestry woven from homecomings, healed fractures, and the quiet joy of belonging. To our beloved Voice of Africa family, yes, you, we owe you a debt of gratitude. Every time you hit like, share a video, or drop a comment saying, "This inspired me," you're fueling a movement. You're telling algorithms that African stories matter. You're reminding a diaspora that their homeland isn't just a memory, it's a mandate. And to our channel members, your support is the secret sauce. Because of you, we've spotlighted heroes like Dr. Kyélem de Tambèla and Idrissa Nassa, ensuring their visions reach millions. Together, we're proving that Africa's narrative isn't tragedy, it's trajectory. Now let's zoom out. Why should the world care about Burkina Faso's experiment? Because it's a litmus test for the entire continent. If a nation with no coastline, scarred by instability, can reinvent itself through sheer will and unity, what's stopping others? Burkina Faso's story whispers a daring truth. Africa's development doesn't hinge on foreign aid or paternalistic policies. It thrives when its children, especially its privileged ones, choose to come home. But let's be real, the road ahead is pothole. Corruption, though declining, still lurks. Some returning diaspora face culture shock, struggling to navigate local bureaucracies. And not every millionaire is convinced. "Why risk my fortune?" one tycoon grumbled anonymously. "Let the government fix things first." But here's the retort from a woman who did take the plunge. If not us, who? If not now, when? The government isn't sugarcoating the struggle. Dr. Kyélem de Tambèla admits some policies may not please everyone, like stricter regulations on profit repatriation. But he's unapologetic. "This isn't about comfort," he says. "It's about survival, our survival." So where do you fit in? If you're Burkinabè abroad, start small. Invest in a cousin's maize farm. Fund a student's tuition. If you're home, buy local. Champion Burkinabè brands. And if you're a global citizen, amplify this story. Share it with that Burkinabè colleague, that Senegalese friend, that European investor. Burkina Faso's revival isn't just a national project, it's a masterclass in audacity. To the youth, Burkina Faso's heartbeat. This is your inheritance. The future isn't in some politician's hands, it's in yours. Learn to code, but code for Burkina. Study agriculture, but revolutionize Burkina's farms. The world is your classroom, but home is your canvas. As we wrap, let's return to that conference hall in Bobo Dioulasso. Dr. Kyélem de Tambèla's voice still echoes. Together we can build our country. In the audience, a woman wipes tears. She's a returned diaspora millionaire, her Gucci suit swapped for a Faso Danfani dress. Later, she'll sign a deal to build a solar farm. But in this moment, she's just a daughter of Burkina, finally home. Family, this is more than a story. It's an invitation to believe, to invest, to return. Burkina Faso's millionaires are showing us that true wealth isn't in offshore accounts, but in the soil where your ancestors sleep. That legacy isn't a mansion in Monaco, but a school in Banfora. That patriotism isn't a slogan, it's a spreadsheet, a business plan, a choice. So let's end with a challenge. Tag a Burkinabè millionaire. Share this video with Number Building Burkina. And if you're that millionaire, the next time you're sipping champagne abroad, ask yourself, what's my vintage worth if my homeland is parched? Thank you for rocking with the voice of Africa. Keep your pride loud, your hope louder, and your belief in Burkina Faso loudest of all. Until next time, Nadiara, stay blessed, and remember, the best way to predict the future is to create it. If this story fired you up, smash that like button, drop a rocket in the comments, and subscribe with notifications on. Let's hit 1 million voices celebrating Africa's rise.